empty downtown. We all know why there's no one around. Former office workers are working from their homes. But is this a permanent situation? Has the workforce drained away from cities to cheaper, less hectic places to live? Or is it an enormous dry lake only waiting for the water to rush back in? It's happened before. Many US downtowns went half dead in the post-war rush to picturesque suburbs. A lot of people who live, work, and run businesses in the city would like an inkling of what's to come.
Something's happened in this last year where all of a sudden this technology kind of worked. Everyone found they could be productive in a distributed way. And that's what I think companies are struggling with right now. I think the companies also understand, but gee, we want them together to bring that creative force back. How that settles itself out, nobody knows. And everybody is guessing right now.
This is Saving the City, where we talk about how cities figure it out. Today, we're mostly talking about San Francisco. Before the pandemic, the SF economy was so hot that starting anything there, a business, an office, a life, was scarcely affordable. Now, it's witnessed an exodus.
In recent years, the office has played an outsized role in corporate culture. The fact that different companies, in an effort to not only enhance their own corporate culture, but also create an environment that's attractive to other employees, saw their offices as places where the mission of the company could be expressed physically, but also used the office as a recruiting tool. Finding, the coolest, hottest, most buzzworthy office became the place that people wanted to work at. And companies recognized that and started to up the ante.
It was really started coming out of the great financial crisis, where there was kind of this urbanization trend, first of all, among companies and among millennials and young people that wanted to live and work in cities. On the flip side, it caused a lot of distress in the suburbs because you had a lot of outdated suburban office parks and buildings that were losing tenants to the city, and they were just kind of sitting and languishing for years.
What's languishing now are the small businesses that depended on the urban workplace.
Yeah, so we opened up 5 years ago on Kearny Street. Our first day before we opened, we had a line of maybe 15, 20 people out the door already.
Guy Eschel is the chef and owner of Flybird and Sababa, with 4 locations in San Francisco's financial district.
Which was very intimidating, as you can imagine. And that didn't stop. We ran out of food probably the first 4 days in a row.
And then the entire world was about to change.
Now to growing concerns about the deadly coronavirus officially hitting the U.S. Here's what we know.
COVID hit and it was broken, and all of a sudden we had to think, okay, what does the future of Sababa and Flybird look like? 80% drop in sales for pretty much the entire year. We're still nowhere near our pre-pandemic sales here.
In Chicago, one important shift has been that COVID really accelerated the movement of millennials from the city to the suburbs. They said, well, look, the city's locked down. There's nothing I can really do to enjoy it. We don't know when this is going to end. Let's just move now. And that's actually translated to this remarkable home buying spree in the suburbs here, which wasn't happening.
The irony is that technology companies, the ones that have all of the tools at their disposal to distribute the workforce, were the ones who felt that they needed to be as close together if they could for as long as they could, because there was this magic, this secret sauce about keeping people in proximity, because they felt that a lot of the creativity happens in the casual meetings. We used to joke that, we're not really building office space for people to sit in offices. We're building office space around how you get coffee.
It's probably a little too strong to say existential questions for downtown coming out of this, but there are real challenges the city has to overcome, which is really remarkable to say when you think about the fact that, downtown had maybe more momentum than it ever had before at the beginning of 2020.
One thing I would say is cities are remarkably resilient. Just stuff happens, history goes on, and cities don't disappear. They adapt. So there's an optimistic side, which is, I don't know, but history tells us that cities will figure this out. And one of the advantages, I think, with having a time, other types can now come to San Francisco that might have been forced out, allows the community to be more diverse, allows the business climate to be more diverse. Hopefully the workforce becomes more diverse.
Nobody knows the future, and trust me, I wish I knew, but I do see the financial district humming once again. I don't think that this is, it's just, unfathomable that such great real estate in terms of office and a whole district of the city that was once some of the hottest real estate in the city would go untouched after the pandemic.
What after the pandemic means remains to be seen. We've been mostly looking at the tea leaves in San Francisco, but there's hardly a consensus anywhere. Most tech companies have so far settled on a hybrid model where workers only come into the office on certain days. If that situation remains, we may see downtowns not so dominated by a few massive tenants. It's a lot of real estate in cities where people want to live. Someone's going to figure out how to use it.